let's talk about White Nights by Fyodor Dostoyevski. It was the Thursday Read With Me book over the last 2 Thursdays, and now it is time to discuss this short novella. It is a bit over 110 pages all in all. White Nights itself is about 85 pages, and the rest of the pages is a short story called Bobok, which we discuss later in this video. At first we want to talk about White Nights, and please be aware that this video is full of spoilers to White Nights because I want to discuss on the whole story. So White Nights is described as a devastating love story, and that is exactly what we get here. It was my first classic in English, and it was super easy to read, which was surprising. But I really liked it. It is very problematic in the behavior of the characters and in their feelings, but it is perfectly portrayed. The whole novella is told from the POV of a young man, we don't know his name, and he walks through St. Petersburg at night and sees this young woman that is crying, and he follows her, and some other men harassed her and he rescues her and then asks what's going on, and that's the point where their friendship starts. And be aware, the young woman is 17 and our guy a few years older. The whole story plays over 4 nights and there is a lot of drama. So much drama, it is a bit soap opera-like. And I must admit, the first half of the novella I paid not much attention to what our main character tells Nastenka, the girl, because he is yapping so much about his life, his super boring life, and that he is so lonely and what he experienced in life, and he hops from topic to topic and I couldn't pay attention to that. I'm sorry. Maybe I was a bit tired in that moment, but all in all, he talks so much about nothing important, despite the fact that he is lonely and has nobody in his life. So it was okay that I paid no attention, I don't know. But after that, Nastenka tells her story, and that was much more interesting to me. She is bound to her grandmother and lived with her grandmother, and she is a super naive young girl and experienced the first love, but the young man she's in love with had to go to Moscow for his work, and before he goes, he makes a promise to her that he will come back in exactly a year, and if she is still in love with him, they will marry. And the year is now over, and she went to the point where they wanted to meet, but he was not there. But she knows exactly that he's back in town. That's why she's so heartbroken and cries. And that's the moment she met our main character. And at first our main character wants to help her. As I said, they develop a friendship and he wants to help her get back her first love. So she writes a letter to her first love and he brings the letter to the man, but the man doesn't answer and doesn't come to the place where they want to meet. Our girl is there every night and waits for him, and over these 4 nights our main character falls in love with her so much that he has to tell her. Even at this point, he is totally friend-zoned. And she struggles a lot with the truth, especially in the moment that she has to admit that her first love will not be back. And there is a lot of back and forth in what she's telling and what she's thinking, to the point that she wants to be with our main character and wants to give him a chance and wants to fall in love with him to forget the other man. And exactly in that moment, our young man, her first love, arrives at the scene. She immediately breaks up with our main character, despite the fact that they wasn't really in a relationship. She immediately goes back to her first love, and our main character is left alone. Nastenka writes him a letter where she explains that she is sorry, but that she will marry her first love and that he is invited to the wedding and that he has to come. So he went to the wedding, and the novella ends a few years later, where our main character says that he is lonely again, but he forgives Nastenka for everything, and that he is not angry at her. So it is a lot about falling in love, about desperation, about a lot of problematic behavior, because I want to remind you, the whole novella plays over 4 nights, and there's so much back and forth, so much drama, so much falling in love. It is a bit crazy, but I'm here for it. As I said before, it is described as a devastating love story, and that is exactly what we got here. And I really loved the story for it, and that it shows this problematic behavior. And after that, I read the short story Bobok, and that was a wild ride. That was an experience for itself. I still don't know what I should think about this story and what the author wanted to tell us with the story, because the whole short story is told from the POV of the author Ivan Ivanovich. He visits a funeral, so he describes a lot of the funeral that is going on, and after that he takes a walk over the graveyard and sits down on a bank, and after a long while he suddenly hears voices, and these voices are ghosts talking. So people that are buried on this graveyard are talking here about everything. And he listens to the whole discussions and chats they have about new arrivals on the graveyard, about politics, about military topics, because there are people from the military buried. And in the end, if Ivan speaks for the first time, all the voices suddenly shut down and he never hears them again. So he leaves the graveyard and thinks about writing an article about these whole conversations that he listened to, and that he maybe wants to visit the graveyard again and again, and sits down in different places on the graveyard to listen to different chats. And that is the end of the short story. I don't know what I should say about this short story. I didn't really like it, I don't despise it. It is just there. But I really liked White Nights, and I can recommend it to you if you want to read a devastating love story. This will be perfect for you. And it is a classic, So if you are interested in classics, maybe give it a chance. And if you've already read the book, please tell me in the comments, what do you think about White Nights? I'm really interested in discussing this with you. And now I can make the announcement for our next week. We will start The Sharp Edge of Silence by Cameron Kelly Rosenblum. It is young adult, it is dark academia, and I bought this especially because I read the excerpt that is printed here, and that was written so beautifully that I had to buy it. I can't wait to read it with you. And with that, like the video if you wanna, follow my channel, and I will see you next time. Bye!